All right, everybody, welcome to Burn Boot Camp Podcast. I'm here at Concord for their grand opening. They were one of the 7th gym, actually, that ever existed in Burn Boot Camp. And it was about half this size at one point, and they were just blowing it out of the walls. Their community's growing like crazy, so they pushed into the next space, and so we came and we're here for a grand opening. And we're celebrating with all of our members, and I have one of them here today. Her name is Crystal Hall. And Crystal is going to share her story of Burn Boot Camp with us. She started in 2020. Crystal, I'm very excited to have you today. I got an opportunity to ask Mike and Andrea if they were to pick one member to come and to share their story. Who would they pick? And they chose you. And so we just got an opportunity to meet. So I'm going to ask some really interesting questions because I'm so curious at your story. And so why don't you start at really wherever you'd like to in your past, but bring us up from that moment to the point where you joined Burn in 2020.
Okay. So my sister-in-law is actually, she's been a member here since 2017 or 2018.
At this gym?
At this gym.
Nice.
Yes. So she was back when it was over there and small. So, but she would always, we do our family dinners and stuff, and she'd tell me about it. And then my clinical supervisor, I work in Mooresville.
Okay.
Holly, she is a huge fan of Mooresville.
Yep.
So she loves Daniel.
Yep.
So I kind of got to see them, back and forth with their stories, and how much they love it and everything. And I was, active beforehand. I would do, have my gym membership before and go walk the trail that's right by our house and stuff. So I always thought, I was in shape, I guess. And then I came here in July of 2019. They did a free camp. All my family was in town from Arizona, so they came with us. We had Mike as our trainer.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Yes. So
it
was a good camp, but I got a beat down. So the next day, we're over at my sister's house or whatever. Cousins were there and we were all talking, literally had to have the handicap thing to try to sit down and use the bathroom and stuff like that. We were sore. It was bad. And so it scared me, but the people were awesome. And so, it was kind of always in the back of my mind. And then in December 2019, I've got 2 words threatened to me that scared the ever-living crap out of me. And that was statin therapy. So, which meant that is my cholesterol was horrible.
Okay.
I got my physical done, and I got my cholesterol panel back, and everything was in the red. And I thought I was active. I thought I was doing good. I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
How'd that make you feel in that moment? Because you have this perspective, I'm active. I should have a really good blood panel. Yeah.
Yeah, very scary. And I, the one thing, it runs in my family, bad cholesterol, heart issues, stuff like that. So I was just okay, well, obviously what I'm doing is not good enough. So they were doing a SAC thing here where they did an SAC. I got to come see my sister-in-law participate in it. And when I walked in the doors, it was awesome. I had she was 18 months at the time, my daughter with me, came to cheer on Lindsay. And the people were just amazing and welcoming and everything. So they were doing a raise the bar kind of promo. And that was the day that I signed up. It was literally a week after I got those results back. So
Nice.
I was all right, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to give it a try.
Do you think those results were the motivation, or was the motivation intrinsic prior to those results, or did that really move you to action?
That kind of moved me to action because being hearing, Lindsay and Holly and them talk about it. I know they loved it. They said nothing but great things about it. But me, I'm just scared to death. I liked kind of going at my own pace and kind of walking into the gym I was at before. It wasn't anything like this. It was just you walk in, you do your exercises, and you're out. So it was kind of I could walk in and do my thing and felt like I was doing okay. But here, it was very intimidating at first until I got through those doors. So, and I will say my first week was rough. I was scared to death. I was shaking. I would literally wait out in the parking lot for someone that I saw and then be oh, okay, I know you. I'm going to walk in with you.
At least you came in because I know that there are members that sometimes will pull up to that parking lot and then they'll pull right back out.
Yes. And that was, I was shaking so bad, but I work full time, so the 5:30 was the best camp time for me, which was good because that's when Lindsay came too. But I got to meet, that crew. I got to talk to them. And, there was one camp that week that, my sister-in-law couldn't make it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go then. And she was like, no, seriously, you need to go. You're going to be fine. And so I literally pulled up, came in the parking lot, and I would watch. And J-Ham, she actually did camp with me earlier, met me at the door. And so Lindsay had kind of texted her and told her, she's nervous, but, she's going to come. So they kind of take you under your wing. And that's the thing. Every camp here, everyone kind of takes you under your wing, helps you grow, pushes you, and that's the best thing.
So looking back on the blood panel, and then you started coming to camp, and I'm assuming you went back and at some point you got your blood work done, and you've been monitoring it since. You've made the decision to, I would say, elevate the intensity of your workouts.
Yes.
Because you were always active. This just elevated the intensity. Is that a fair thing? Fair way to put it? What happened? Are the blood panels any better?
They were normal. Yes, they were normal. So. When I got the bad results, statin therapy is what they put you on. It's like a daily cholesterol medication. But what I do, I work in a family medicine office. So part of the things I was doing was, prior authorizations for any type of prescriptions, and a lot of them were cholesterol medications. And so the thing with statin therapy is there are many people that take them and they have no problems, but those never came to my desk. The things that came to my desk were ones where you get leg cramps, muscle cramps, myalgias, so many bad side effects. So I would see all of that, and I'm like, I don't want to take a pill every day, and two, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to have to put, go through all of those side effects and then not be able to, do the things that I want to do. So they gave me a choice, and they were like, you have a year, because that's when you have to get your blood panel done again. And they're like, and if these aren't better, as in not just better, but if they aren't in the green, if there's even a little bit in the red, then you're going on it. We'll give you some time to go ahead and get that, under control, whether it's diet, nutrition, exercise, whatever. And so thinking that I was already, doing well with my exercise, I was like, I gotta kick it up. And that's when I joined Burn, and I got him back a year later. And I even had a little post, I think, where I tagged Burn, where it was just last year's and this year's, and everything so far has stayed in the green.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Well, so then when you go back to your doctor and he says, okay, well, good job, right? I'm sure that's the first thing he says is, you just took control of this yourself and hit a home run, knocked it out of the park. What does he attribute it to? Just the elevated intensity? I mean, we get to the point where we're doing metabolic conditioning and things like that, and excuse me, you're burning, you're tending to burn off the toxins at a higher rate. I mean, things like that. So what do you think, was it diet driven? What do you say was the main culprit of the recovery?
More just the change in, the exercise and my activity. Coming here, it changed me physically, it changed me mentally, emotionally. So just coming here and getting a different workout in every day definitely helped, where I wasn't going into the gym before and just doing the treadmill or the elliptical and then maybe some strength stuff. Coming here, there's such differences in all the workouts that you get, that you're working every muscle. You're burning calories. You have your people around you who are motivating you, the trainers, they know you, they're coming up to you and pushing you. Diet and stuff, it's definitely, I'm a little more conscious as far as diet and nutrition since I've started coming here. But my husband and I have completely different goals when it comes to nutrition, how we eat, and then our daughter, so it's kind of hard. That is definitely one thing I could work on better, is the nutrition part of it. But yeah, just coming in, consistency, accountability. If I'm not here, I have my people texting me and they're like, hey, we missed you, where are you? So just being consistent, where it's if I miss a camp, it kind of sucks because I don't see my people, I don't get to work out with my friends. So just being held accountable and staying consistent with it, because those were two things that were never drove me before.
Well, it's a very interesting notion to think that the increase in the demand that you place on yourself physically actually has physiological effects like that. And to be able to, I'm not sure exactly what pathologically happened, to remove cholesterol, remove, what was it, built up cholesterol? And
it was just my total cholesterol, everything, triglycerides were high, everything.
Yeah, so just it's interesting how a routine, just you're working out the same time,
Yeah.
But like you're doing something different within that time frame that could actually have those dramatic physiological results it's really inspiring to me, because do we set out to do that? No, I don't understand it that well. But once you see that people come with bad blood work and then 6 months, a year later, they're coming with great blood work, it's like, well, there's something in the recipe here that is, it's either the proclivity to have a better diet because you are so much more active, or just the deep effort that it takes to put yourself, like, is it a mental thing? Like, I'm so interested to see, like, I want to study that, and see what it really is. What do you think it really is? Do you think mental health has anything to do with it?
Oh, for sure. I think mental health has a lot to do with it. I mean, not just, cholesterol. The cholesterol part, like, it runs in my family. Was told that a long time ago, back when I was in high school, I had a cholesterol panel come back. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't as bad. And they, that's what we tell people in the medical world, is just like, if you have high cholesterol, especially if you have a bad panel come back, like, the first thing we tell them to work on is their exercise and their diet. But just being more consistent, being more active, and that kind of helps, with having a healthier lifestyle, and then, getting a better panel. And then as far as mentality, like, my mental health it's definitely much better. I had some very bad challenges in 2021, and had it not been for Burn, it probably would be in a very dark place right now. So just having the consistency of coming here, the people that surround you, the trainers care about you. So just all of that kind of helps you physically, mentally, emotionally. My daughter is 4 now, and I just shared a thing from like 2 years ago. I pick her up every day. She goes to school in Mooresville, and I pick her up. We come straight here because I work 6:45 to 4. Pick her up, we come here. And then there was one day that I got off early, picked her up early, she fell asleep in the car. And when she woke up, we were in the driveway, we were not in this parking lot. And she was not happy. She was completely livid with me. I have a video of her, tears coming down her eyes. Why aren't we at the workout? I want to go work out. Why aren't we at the workout? And I was like, I got off early, we're waiting on Dad, we're gonna go to the workout. So she is my biggest accountability partner, and she's the tiniest little thing. But, I try so hard. Burn has been such a huge thing in all of our lives. My husband comes here, so we, she holds us accountable, and it's just kind of helped us be able to keep up with her. And then just emotionally, physically, mentally, it's definitely been amazing for our health.
Well, I'm glad you were able to pick up the tool of Burn Boot Camp and use it for your family. And I have a hunch that if we didn't exist for whatever reason, you would have figured it out some way, shape, or form, and brought that into your family, brought the gift of health and hard work. I think hard work, being able to work hard is such a gift,
Yes.
Being able to show up here on the floor, and, we're big into the MDA, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and kids with neuromuscular disease, they get robbed of that privilege at birth to be able to do a push-up, and so being able to work hard, that's one of the best privileges. And so being able to show up in a place and have your daughter, yourself, your husband, your daughter see hard work, it's it just works. If you work hard at life, it works. And it not only works in the sense of physical fitness to help you get physically stronger, but also transcends that, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And for me, obviously, it's become my entire life now. It's the workout is just what I do. The brand is who I am, and the philosophy of the brand is who I am. And so, how did that decision to say, hey, get this blood panel back? I hate it. Never me again. Not me. Not going to happen. You make the decision, you rip the Band-Aid off, you're like, whatever pain I need to go through to get rid of that, I'm gonna go do that.
Yes.
And you do that, and how do you think that's changed the future outlook of your family if you were to look out and to say hey, that one decision leads to this vision down the road? Have you connected those dots of how the short term affects the long term?
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially, with it being the whole cholesterol and so many health conditions in the family. Long-term wise, Burn gives me the energy, it gives me the confidence, it gives me the mental, capacity to be able to handle things in life that have come at me. And there have been lots of challenges, not just physically, but if it weren't for Burn, I feel like I don't know that I would have gotten through those things as easily as I have. Not just having that community surround you and being held accountable and being consistent. Long-term wise, like, I've made friendships here for life. These are my people, and I don't know where I would be without them. Like, probably not in the best mental or emotional state, for sure.
Your daughter's 4.
4, yes.
Nice. What do you hope in 24, so in 20 years she'll be an adult, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe before that, but let's just call it 20 years from now. What do you hope that your daughter says about you in 20 years?
Oh God, I hope she looks at me and thinks of me as being strong. I hope she looks at me and thinks of me as being able to keep my word, being consistent and working hard, and setting goals and getting to them. I want all of those things for her. It's hard for me to kind of take a step back and let her try to figure out stuff now on her own, and I know that's gonna get even harder when she's older, but I just want her to be able to look up to me the way that I had looked up to my mom, and just be like, when I was younger, we weren't able to do things the way other people were able to do them, but because of you, and because of like how you parented me and how I got to watch you, do things, overcome things, stuff like that, I'm a stronger person because of that. Because I believe that I turned out that way because of my mom, and I want her to be able to do that too.
Yeah, pay it forward, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Crystal, that's amazing, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing a little bit of the story. No, it's always not as easy to open up
right.
your heart, especially when you're on a podcast with thousands of people, but you're doing fantastic. And
thank you.
So, Crystal, the one thing I would ask you to do, and my last question, is to go ahead and address the camera. And because this is the rest of Burn Nation and beyond, we have people that listen to this podcast that aren't even a part of Burn Boot Camp, just because it's the best ever. That's why. But what would you tell thousands of women who are listening to this right now? What would you tell them? What would your advice be to them when it gets hard?
Just keep showing up. I know there are times and there are things that hit you that, you just don't want to get out of bed. I was there. Or you just, don't feel like, you can go with your daily routines and stuff. But for me, I kept showing up mainly because my people were holding me accountable, were texting me, telling me to show up, telling me they missed me. Keep showing up, because if it weren't for Burn, like, I would probably not be in the best mental state, physical state, any of that. And so that consistency, walking in the door, I know it's the hardest thing in the world. They say that your only regret is once you start is not starting sooner. And so that, I think, was a big thing for me, because I did my first camp in July 2019, but I didn't start until January 2020, and that is my biggest regret, is not starting sooner. So just you can do it. You can walk in those doors. You can show up no matter what your mindset is. And I promise, like, this community, these people, your trainers, everyone's going to be there for you, and they're all going to be on your side and in your court and cheering you on. And it is really the best thing in the world, and it's going to get you through all of those challenges.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal Hall, Concord member.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much, you and your family and everything you guys do for the gym. We love it. We love it here. It's our this gym and the Huntersville gym are in Mooresville. I'm gonna throw Mooresville in there, and Cornelius, because if I don't, Morgan's gonna say, "What, dude? You didn't even say Cornelius? That was my gym." Between a handful of our gyms around this area, that's really what made Burn Boot Camp pop, is people that felt the same things that you're feeling from it and wanted to go pay those things forward to others. And so I always, like, Mike and Andrea know this, I brag about them all the time, but they literally are at the nucleus of this entire movement. Awesome. And everybody knows the sheriff.
Yes.
Everybody knows the sheriff, and they've built an amazing team here at Concord, and I just really appreciate you opening up and being on the show today.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. That was our podcast for today here from Concord. We're going to sign off in a moment, but before we do that, flex on that subscribe button, all right? I know y'all are listening. Don't be listening to this without subscribing. I'll find you, all right? We'll take it out. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.